Hey, everybody. Um, I'm saying, my name is Stephanie, and I really appreciate you watching this, whether you are coming in live or whether you're catching this on a replay. I am all about making my time as productive as I can when I remember to. So let me know if you feel the same way. And I am doing a live for the very first time in like forever. So definitely give me a little grace with this as I figure things out. I haven't used StreamYard, which is what I'm using here. You see the logo right over there. I haven't used that in probably a year. So it's like, I got to remember all these things, but it's a lot of fun. I enjoy working with people and, sharing what I know about wellness, about staying active as you get older. A lot of things come from my personal experience. A lot of things come from my background with yoga and also with wellness coaching and so forth. So I am here. And this is a channel that is 10 years old. I started this channel literally 10 years ago as a hobby, and I was into a lot of like makeup reviews, makeup tutorials, which, I was in my 40s at the time. I'm 54 now, but it was just a lot of fun. And I had a lot of fun and meeting a lot of people in the YouTube community with makeup interest as a hobby. And then I did a few DIYs and so forth, and I got busy. You know how that it gets. I went back to school. I was finishing up my education career, 30 years as a teacher, and just a lot of things happened. I started becoming a caregiver for my parents and, just all the things that happen as you get older, right? Definitely let me know if you can relate in the comments. And anyway, as I retired, I entered into yoga training because I was actually starting my experience with teaching yoga to my high school students. That was something that we were doing to bring in a little bit of something called social emotional learning into the classroom. And my cat Phoenix is over here. He'll probably come into my lap at some point. I have cats all over the place, probably on my shirt too. And anyway, so I was doing all of those things, and I had another YouTube channel briefly, and it's still up with the idea of women aging awesomely. But I somehow remembered I had this channel. And so I looked at it and it's like, oh my gosh, I've got all of these subscribers and so forth. And I'm still getting a lot of views on some of my videos. There he is right there. That's Phoenix. And so I thought, you know what? Why don't I just kind of focus on this channel? So welcome back. It's been 10 years on this channel. And I would like to talk today about getting set up for a brand new month. Today's August 1st, 2022. I mean, the year is literally just speeding by. And one thing that I like to do is do a little bit of reflection on the previous month and then move into the new month. And with that in mind, I like to toy around with words. I'm a retired English teacher. And one thing that I was thinking about was why can't we turn the word month into an acronym and let each letter stand for something and kind of let that be a focal point for the month? So that's what I'd like to discuss a little bit today. So here I go with StreamYard. I am trying to share my screen. Let me see, I think I do this. Yes, I do. I'm so excited. I'm doing things. I'm getting it right. Okay. So I would like to talk about a monthly reset, kind of not really a plan with me type of thing, but just a little bit of a reflection on the previous month. In this case, it's July that we're reflecting on, and then working in what we want to do for the upcoming month. But it's not really to plan. I'm not going to share my calendar per se or anything like that. And with that, we will go ahead and move into another slide. I have to keep going back and forth between pages on my laptop here, and my earpiece keeps falling out. So it's a lot of fun over here. First live on YouTube. So yes, we're going to be looking at the start of each new month in a particular way, taking the letter of each letter of the word month and doing something with it, However, first, I think it's nice to reflect a little bit. So, what I'd like for us to do is reflect on a couple of questions here. I was brainstorming questions I wanted to have for this live, and I mean, my notebook was full of probably 12 questions, and I thought to myself, I don't need any more questions. I need less questions. I need fewer questions. So these are questions that you can, if you've got a notepad or a journal or even just a piece of paper, or even the back of an envelope. I have definitely used that as scratch paper before. Then I want you to write down these questions. What were some wins that you had? Now, if you are popping in live, in the next minute or so, go ahead and put these in the chat if you would like to share, if you can think of them and share live. And if you're watching on replay, then definitely take the time, pause the video if you want on this particular section of the video, and maybe leave a comment about one or two answers that you have for some of these questions. So, what were some wins that you had? And I know for me, this past month in July, it might not sound like a win exactly, but I ended up having a flare up of plantar fasciitis in both of my feet, my right one worse than my left, but still it was pretty significant. And I have had those shots in my feet before, like 6 years ago. And if you have had those shots, you know exactly my hesitation in going and calling up the doctor and getting more shots lined up. So I started researching a lot of things about what to do to alleviate the pain naturally because I really did not want those shots again. They are so painful because you have 1,001 nerve endings at the bottom of your feet. And I may do a video on that later as to how I got my feet to feel better and better. So if you are interested in that and you have flare up of plantar fasciitis every so often, let me know and I'll be happy to do that video. I may anyway, but it's kind of cool to know who else suffers from that every so often. So that's a win for me is that my feet, after about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks of really taking some measures and putting them into place, my feet really do feel so much better. Of course, now I've got texting thumb that I'm dealing with over here. And so another question is, did you learn any lessons? And so with that, it could be a great lesson that you learned. It could be a hard knock life kind of lesson. It could be not doing that again lesson. But any kind of lesson that you've learned, just journal about that. These are great journal prompts, by the way, that you might could take one per day for this week as we start out a new month, or you could just kind of pick one, or you could do all of them all in one day. It's, the sky's the limit. It is totally your choice. And then, were you tracking any habits? So, back in December, I was getting ready for 2022. In fact, I did a whole challenge with some of my clients, and we called it get ready, be ready for 2022. So this is back in December, and we spent the entire month of December working in 3 areas if they wanted to, and most of us did. We each had something in each of the 3 areas we focused on, which was to some kind of mindset situation, a be active type of a thing, and a be healthy type of thing, and that was really fun. So I've kind of gotten my habits in check. It's definitely, the whole tried and true, water intake thing. I've been going to bed a lot earlier, which is really helping me so much. Oh my gosh, I think I'm finally getting control of better sleep habits. So I feel like those were things that were successful and have been successful. So I'm not really focusing on building the habits because I'm just kind of maintaining them at this point. So if you've got any habits, let me know below what your habits are that you're working on. Maybe I can do videos later to kind of help out with that if need be. And then the last question here is a really good one. I definitely kept this one out of those 12 or 13 questions that I had brainstormed. This one was definitely a keeper, and I wanted to have it last because it's a great one. And that is, how do I feel about last month overall? Now, of course, I keep talking about July being the previous month. So if you're watching this and it's November, or maybe it's even sometime in 2023 and you somehow stumbled across this video, whatever the last month is for you at this point in time that you're watching is cool. So go with that for sure. All right, so we're going to move on. Let me just check super fast. And over in StreamYard, okay, let me go back to my slide deck. So we're going into what the letters for month mean to me with the acronym that I created. Maybe somebody else has created this too, but this was something that I know I have done for myself and for others. So I'm sharing it here on YouTube. First time, ooh. So M is all about mindset. I want you to think about how you want your month to start. So maybe there's a theme that you've got. If you like quotes, maybe you've got those little calendars, that kind of are on easels, and you flip over a day, and you have found a quote along the way that you really like and you resonate with. Maybe you want to focus on that. I love quotes. I am definitely always looking at quotes, whether it's motivational or whether it is something that is kind of helping me de-stress. Sometimes those are the quotes I focus on. I also like affirmations. So those are some things I like a lot as well. So think about how you want your month to start, what kind of theme, what kind of mood, what type of energy, and so forth. And then maybe riff off of that in a journal, or just reflecting on your back deck, or something as you drink coffee or hot tea or whatever, or wine. um, and then the next letter, O, in month, is all about opportunity. So this is something where I want you to keep an eye out for opportunities to come your way. Maybe it's something at work that might get you a little bit ahead of the game. It might be that you go into the workroom and you see the job board for your company. I love this little guy; he keeps falling out. And because a lot of companies do hire from within, so maybe you see something that might pique your interest to apply for. So just look out for opportunities. Maybe you've got a friend that you really haven't spoken to in a while, and you happen to see something on social media about that they're planning a trip to hike a mountain or something, and it's like, let me get in touch with them, and maybe y'all can actually go together. So look for opportunities. Maybe it's an opportunity to volunteer in your community and so forth. I had an opportunity a couple of weeks ago, so it's going to be this coming Saturday, so it counts for August for me. But it's an opportunity to participate in a local pop-up shop. So I'll be busy a little bit later this week, probably Wednesday, making rose water. And I have these little bottles I've already ordered, and they already came. So they're in a box over there. And I'll be making rose water. I might end up even do a video about that. If you're interested, let me know. And then I make affirmation cards, and so forth. So I've got a lot of things. I make eye pillows with lavender and spearmint. So I've got all these little physical products that I sell locally, and also on my website. So you can always check that out. I'm sure my website is in the description of the video. And so that's an opportunity that came to me last month that is going to come into fruition this coming Saturday for August. So that's awesome. And then N. So N is where you have to fill in the blank on this one, but it stands for new blank, new something. So fill in the blank on that, as it says right here on the screen. Maybe it's a new book for you to enjoy. Maybe it is a hobby. Maybe it's a home improvement project, going on a new hiking event or trail. Maybe it's to enjoy a new Netflix series. One that I'm enjoying right now, although it's actually on Hulu, is Only Murders in the Building. I really didn't know too much about Martin Short for some reason. I knew Steve Martin, I knew Selena Gomez. They're the three main stars in the show. But I have to tell you, Martin Short just cracks me up. I absolutely love that show. It's in its second season, halfway through it. So if you have not checked it out, but you've been hearing some buzz about it, let me also tell you to check it out. It's great. So I'm working on that series right now, and so forth. So think about something new blank, and let me know in the comments what you have filled in the blank with. So we're going to keep on going. We're almost finished. We've got two more letters, and the next letter up is T. So T stands for trip. So maybe it is a day trip, maybe it is a weekend trip, a full-blown vacation trip that you take. or maybe it's just a trip to a new part of town that you haven't been to lately, or you just haven't, been to ever. I'm in the Atlanta area. I'm sure you can tell from my accent. I'm from the South, and I live in the metro Atlanta area. And I went yesterday to a little part of town called Little Five Points. And it's a very eclectic, very cool, hip, trendy kind of place. And I went to a place called Junkman's Daughter, and I got the coolest little wall sconces that are ceramic, and you can tell they're, handmade ceramic. And they had live cacti inside of them, live succulents. And so that was kind of cool because that came with it. That was at no extra cost. And so I just packed those up and brought them home. And that was just a fun little day trip for me. And also went to the Target there, but I forgot it was like back to school time frame here in the South. And it's like, oh my gosh, that was a big mistake. The parking lot was a parking lot. We were moving at a snail's pace to get back out. I couldn't get out fast enough. But think about, any type of trip that you want, day trip, weekend trip, full blown trip. Maybe it's an outing by yourself, like I did yesterday. Maybe it's with some girlfriends, family, co-workers, so forth. I'm a retired teacher, and I know that this time frame we were in pre-planning, and I always remember that was like the best thing about pre-planning was to go on lunch breaks off of the school campus, because when you're teaching you have to eat most often with your students. And it was just so that was just what we lived for. That was like the highlight of ending our summer, is to go back to pre-planning, which is full of boring meetings. But again, the highlight was that we could meet up with our friends we haven't seen all summer, tell all the stories, and go and eat off campus. So you have to find the joy where you can, right? And then finally, the last letter, and this could be a couple of different things. I like to use the word hammock. And if you're thinking, what on earth does hammock have to do with getting ready for a new month and kind of having a good focal point? Well, I like to think of hammock as resting. So please remember to take care of yourself with each and every month. And if you literally are always so busy, and you've got 1,000 balls that you're juggling and so forth, then maybe just literally plan into your planner, into your calendar, time to take some breaks, whether it's, to go grab a massage, or maybe just take a walk in the neighborhood after dinner. It doesn't have to be anything that's expensive or cost anything. So it could totally, be reading, opening up a book and reading it from the library, or taking that neighborhood walk. But other things, when I've shared this information on different platforms. I'm an Insight Timer yoga teacher as well, for an app called Insight Timer. If you've got that on your phone, you can look me up, Stephanie Fowler. And I used to do lives on Insight Timer quite a bit. And so when I did a live about this exact idea of an acronym for month, some people typed in the comments some other suggestions, which I thought were really great. So I'll share those as well. Somebody else said, well, instead of hammock, which hammock's great, but instead of hammock, maybe you could have it stand for health, or a healthy habit. And somebody else also mentioned that they thought it would be good to have hobby there. So I felt like N kind of took care of that, like maybe a new hobby, but also H could stand for hobby too. But I like the idea of hammock because I think we need to remember to build rest into our lives, because we really do get so busy, like can't stop, won't stop kind of mentality, work hard type of thing. So I really like the idea of slowing down and remembering to slow down. And then just a reminder of all of those words with our acronym. So mindset, opportunities, new, blank, trip, and hammock, which of course means rest. All right, I'm just going to check over on StreamYard super fast. Excellent. I've got somebody watching. Thank you so much for watching. That is great. This is my very first live. My name is Stephanie. And I wanted to kind of point out, if you need a little bit of help, then maybe you can think about a few things and brainstorm, so that you can maybe go back to the acronym for month and fill that out a little bit better if needed. So if you need a little bit of help, then maybe think about what you are currently, or in this previous month, which again would be July, what you are celebrating, what you are loving, maybe what you're watching, reading, planning, listening to. I love podcasts. I used to listen to music just all the time, but I finally kind of was won over by podcasts. And so I've got certain podcasts on Apple Podcasts that I like and I've subscribed to. And then on Spotify, I have different kind of podcasts. I don't know why I have them kind of separate, but I do. And to give you one example that I really like, that's a podcast, is Switched on Pop. And it's these two guys. One is what he calls a musicologist, and one is a songwriter. And the two of them are awesome. They've done podcasts about Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush because of all the Stranger Things fame that has kind of rekindled our love of that song back from the 80s. I remember when it came out, I had the album. Actually, it was on cassette that I had. And they've also got, other episodes, like they've done a series on Britney Spears and what makes her music so interesting. So they really break it apart, like each song, and really go through things. They've done something on Beyonce's new album that just came out, Kendrick Lamar. So they have quite a wide variety of different music artists or music bands actually, that they will cover. So that's a really cool one. I'll just share off the top of my head that I'm listening to and enjoying. And then also maybe something that you're making or doing. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm getting ready for a local pop-up shop. So that is definitely all that I'm about this coming week, actually. And I just wanted to mention that I am a yoga teacher. I am trained as a 200-hour yoga teacher, but also I went back and got my 300 hours. So we'd like to add those together. So it's 500 hours that I have of training, as well as some additional weekend long trainings that I've done as well. And so I would love to introduce anybody that has not tried yoga but would like to. I've got this coming up later this week, and it is Yoga for Beginners. So I've got 4 different videos. They're ready, they're prepped. I'm going to be uploading them probably starting either tomorrow or Wednesday, one each day. And the first one, as you can see, will be focusing on our head and neck area. The second day will be focusing on shoulders. The next day down will be our knees, which kind of also incorporates hips and ankles, because that entire piece of your body, the leg, it's called the muscle chain. So we'll focus not just on knees, but also hips and ankles. And then finally, the last day is literally about your toes and your feet, a little bit of the ankles again. So if you are interested in that, it'll be a little bit of movement, but a lot of times we'll just be seated as well. And we'll work on our breath a little bit. We'll do some affirmations at the end. And I think it's really enjoyable. I've enjoyed working on that. So I hope you join me. Let me know if you're interested in that, or if you're planning on attending. And that'll be, or I say attending, watching and participating. And I believe either tomorrow or Wednesday, I'll be putting those out. So definitely subscribe so you'll get those notifications when those videos come up. And just thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. And I really appreciate you listening and watching, and comment below how this felt for you. We didn't really talk about planners. I know we all have planners. I use Google Calendar. I do have a physical planner as well. And I also have a little notepad. It's from a company called and um, Ink and Volt. And so I, kind of fill that out too. I've got stickers. I kind of, plan that out and so forth, and have focal points. I've even got little sticky notes so I can have a daily list that I can, kind of pull off and have a fresh one each day. So that's kind of what I do. But I didn't want to go over that so much. I just wanted to focus on reflecting on the previous month, talking about what month could stand for literally as an acronym, and so forth. So I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you again very much. I hope that you subscribe, and I am going to say goodbye. So thank you very much again.